We're going to look at the rules for naming and drawing alkenes. The good news is that the alkenes follow the same rules as for the alkanes, except now to indicate that it's an alkene, including at least one double bond, we're going to change the ending to ENE, and that tells us that double bonds are present. Our first step then is to locate the longest carbon chain that contains both atoms in the double bond. So this applies even when it is possible to find a longer continuous chain that doesn't pass through both atoms in the double bond. So in this situation right here, what we have is we have a carbon at the number 2 position and a carbon at the number 3 position. We want to make sure then when we are numbering our longest carbon chain that we're going through all 4 of these carbons. So you can see that we're going to have something that starts with bute to indicate the 4. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to number the carbons, and we see that we have carbons in the double bond at the number 2 and 3 positions. Now, if it's possible to give an alkyl side group a low number, we're going to strive for that as well. So you can see in this example, we have an alkyl side group here at the number 2 position. And so we say that's killing 2 birds with 1 stone, or planting 2 trees with 1 seed. So we can end up with a 2 methyl group instead of a 3. Moving up then, we're going to number and name our base chain. So we can call it a 2-butene. Now that 2 refers to the location of the double bond. You know that it goes between carbons 2 and 3. The convention is to go with the lowest number in the pair. The other way to do it, and this is actually very practical when you get to more complex molecules with lots of numbering, is if you nest the 2 directly in front of the thing that it's referring to. So bute-2-ene tells us that we have a double bond between the 2 and 3 carbons in the bute. Finally, what we do is we attach our alkyl side group. That's on the number 2 position, so following our convention, 2-methyl-2-butene. Now, to make life interesting, sometimes we have more than one double bond, and we could have a diene, we could also have a triene. So in the next example, you can see that your longest continuous chain has 6 carbons in it. So we go this way, and then we are going to number in this situation from the left. Now, a question that you might have at this point is, how do we know in which direction to number the chain? Sometimes you're seeing it numbered from the left and sometimes from the right. Well, we're trying to give the lowest possible numbers to those double bonds, just as we did with the alkyl side groups. So if we start at the left, we're going to have a number 1 and a number 4, and you could count in the other direction and see that you would have a 2 and a 5 in the other direction. So we prefer the 1 and the 4. Again, we're going to put the numbers out front, 1, 4 dash hexadiene. So we would have named that as an alkane, hexane. We're dropping the Ne at the end, and we're switching it to diene, telling us there are 2 double bonds present. As well as in the previous example, we can nest the numbers hexa 1,4-diene. So in the last part here, we can also have a triene, and that's it, that's all.